Field is given a 1-to-go signal. Sean Houlihan atop the flag stand here today at Thompson Speedway, the World Series 150 presented by Flow Sports. They are staged and ready. So much on the line for this one today. Limited practice, sticker tires. The championship 3 and 4 start inside the top 2 rows. This is what it all comes down to, and an opportunity to win the championship over the course of the next 3 races runs through Thompson Speedway.
There's no question. The pressure is on. The weather conditions are not ideal, but there is, well, some good weather conditions. Track position is going to be key in this event. Will pit strategy come into play, or will they ride it out? Everybody is watching to see what the weather is going to do. But right now, all attention is off turn number 4. Here they come, the modifieds, down off the turn, and Ronnie Still gets this bite to lead the field to the bottom of turn number 1. Already mid for second, Joe, and that seems to be the hot spot of the race. It was Austin Beers with a 64, but Bonsignore had quickly moved into second.
It's Ron Silk who will come around and lead lap number 1 here at Thompson. Everybody settles into single file for the moment, but one car that is starting to go backwards, and that is that one car. Patrick Emerling, remember, he got into the outside wall in practice. He is stuck on the bottom, and he is going backwards.
The outside lane seems to be the lane of choice. All of a sudden, Lutz moves the 46 car to the inside of your screen. Meanwhile, Patrick Emerling continues to shift back. Car number 10, that's Bob Reese's machine that literally gets crossed up. Meanwhile, Hirschman is behind the number 22 machine as it starts to work his way to contend. That's Kyle Bonsignore, started in the 4th row. So there's some adjustments, and a lot of cars are already backing up with just 3 laps into the record books.
Yeah, Patrick Emerling was stuck on the inside lane, and here at Thompson, especially on the restarts, the outside grooves, you can see the top 3 where they run tends to be a bit preferred. He got pinned down on the bottom. Now, was that because he was pinned on the bottom that he was dropping back, or was it because that car may have a little bit more damage than they thought after that scuff in the outside wall in practice?
You're looking at the top 3 cars. Here comes Bonsignore. Nice move. Steps out of line, moves to the inside. Meanwhile, trying to do the crossover. Here comes Silk again. Silk is right there, and Austin Beers. Once considered a youngster in this group, Joe, he's no longer. He is definitely a veteran, and he likes this racetrack. He's told us exactly that.
He likes the racetrack, but he hasn't had that good of a result here. I mean, you would think that his experience, his first win came at Richmond Raceway on a big racetrack. He runs well at these high-speed tracks. Struggled to get a top 5 here at Thompson. 7th earlier in April, 8th in the midsummer race in August, and he is trying to see if he can improve upon his results here at Thompson.
Certainly has. Mechanical woes have been a part of all of that. We understand that, but the racing is still hot and heavy. Tyler Ripkema, who took over the bowler machine. Now to the inside, here comes Lutz. Lutz, who has always been very consistent and strong. Joe, look at the stats for Lutz, and you'll see he is a factor every time he comes to the 5/8 mile facility.
2-time winner here at Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park is that 46 of Craig Lutz. Doug Ojeko and that team always put together a good race car. He's moving into the 4th position now. Here comes Tyler Ripkema, though, just his 3rd start in this 3 car, looking to the inside to see if he can battle back.
Well, he was lucky. He competed in 2 other race events on this World Series weekend. He said he needed more seat time and to feel like he could get adjusted. All of a sudden, stepping out of the line there, it appeared that car number 58 got crossed up. Correction, that's the 56 machine, but he was able to gather it back and pull back into the line.
I think he got squeezed up into the wall up off turn number 4, and he was trying to pull that car off the wall just a little bit and did so pretty aggressively for the young rookie, Trevor Catalano. Trevor Catalano and that team, this is a brand new race car for them. They had it sitting back in the shop. You know, earlier this year, they were a top 5 contender week in and week out, but they had a crash with that car at Riverhead Raceway, the first race of the year, when they rebuilt it with a new clip on it. Just really didn't handle the way that they wanted it to, and he said, you know what, I need to get back to being a factor. So they took this car to Lancaster Speedway, Lancaster Motorplex to test it a little bit, and they ran a race and just kind of rode around. He said, you know what, this car is really, really good. And you look at where he's running right now, he's been able to pick up a couple of spots just outside the top 5. That car does look good for Trevor Catalano.
It certainly does. He's currently running in the 6th position. 7th is now the 22 of Kyle Bonsignore. Patrick Emerling has dropped back to the 8th spot. Matt Hirschman is another car that backed up just a bit in the 9th position. And Tommy Catalano is 10th. Out of the top 10, Chase Dowling, Anthony Nocella, and Woody Pitcap. All 3 of them were pretty quick in the practice session here today.
Everybody's settled in here for the moment. Top 3 have been able to get away with Justin Bonsignore leading the way. We watch this battle now for 5th and 6th between Tyler Ripkema in that 3 car. It was this race that was the last race that Jake Johnson ran for this team in August before Tyler Ripkema stepped in behind the wheel, and that 3 car has put good runs together here at the Speedway.
Absolutely. After that at Oswego, it was Bobby Santos who took over the ride, had a pretty consistent run with that as well. So some, well, we'll call it seat swapping that went in place in that team. Now all of a sudden trying to hold off the opposition, but Catalano does have a great race car. Just as you mentioned, they have done their homework, and it's all starting to show as we speak. You're looking at the 3 car to the left of your screen, hunted down by the 56 machine of Catalano, and right there with him is the number 22 car. That is Kyle Bonsignore.
Now, Kyle Bonsignore lives in Mooresville, North Carolina. He has been very active in aiding with the hurricane relief around Hurricane Helene, just not maybe 45 minutes or so west of where he lives. And he says just mind-boggling to see what is transpiring just so close to home, and he has been a key part of the relief. Many of the teams, including the 46 team, Craig Lutz in that group, they've got 3 race car-sized tractor trailers that they're going to be bringing down south to be able to bring supplies like water and flashlights and batteries and different things that people need down there. With Kyle Bonsignore and that 46 car that you see right there have been a big part of that operation among the modified community.
Certainly has, and a lot of people, as we've mentioned, in the modified community are doing exactly just that. You're looking at the Lutz machine as it continues to start to string it out just a bit. Meanwhile, things settling in. Lutz is in the 4th spot. Austin Beers is in that front pack of cars. Justin Bonsignore is still the leader with Ronnie Silk. You're looking at the margin between 1st and 2nd to the left of your screen as they come up on lap traffic. Bonsignore and Ryan Stone, that race car we know is kept down south, and they have, it's located in the Fury operation or the Fury garage area, brought back up here by Ryan Stone to compete, and they said they did everything possible to reinsure that nothing would go wrong with car number 51, because a year ago something did happen. We'll talk about it later.
So the top 2 still putting the pressure on each other like they have for so many years. You go back to the 3rd place machine, and you'll see that 64 car. That is Austin Beers. Beers having one of his better runs here at Thompson Speedway in the first 21 circuits or so. Back in 2006, his dad won on the Whelen Modified Tour here. That was Eric Beers, one of the several victories in his careers. So they know how to get it done here at Thompson. But Austin certainly having one of his best career runs at this track.
You know, you look into the record books, you discover that Austin's dad, Eric, competed for the Bowler family, had a lot of success, drove for a lot of different car owners, and always was very consistent, had some wins and some victories, but his main success came from the ROC circuit in upstate New York. Lutz continues about the same margin. There is a minimal gap between him and the car that is currently running behind him, which of course is Trevor Catalano, rounding out the top 5. Breaking into the top 10, Chase Dowling in the Tineo number 44. Talk about an interesting story with that race car, Joe. Imagine this, Bobby Santos, one of the best. He won a lot of events, including races at New Hampshire over the years. He decides to take a brief break with the 44 team for a while, and then Doug Colby takes over the ride. Colby could not get a break at all. Just a lot of hardships and a lot of problems. No fault of his or the race team's, wrong place at the wrong time. Chase Dowling stepped in New Hampshire, and we know that story. Then went on and was an outstanding competitor in the last time this division ran here, but he couldn't close because the motor expired in car number 44.
Well, Dowling came home 3rd at New Hampshire earlier this season, just makes his 3rd start in this 44 of the year. As you mentioned, they've had a lot of different drivers in it, and Chase would love to be able to be in this car in 2025, and that is still yet to be seen. They were here in August, did not have a good run then. Right now, Chase Dowling in that 44 car, circulating in the 10th position on the attack against Matt Hirschman in that 60 car. And you know, Matt Hirschman, we talk about his detailed focus and approach that he has. Well, you know what? He was one of the last guys out there checking tires before they came out onto the racetrack for practice, trying to make sure that every detail was taken care of for that 60 car. He's been quiet so far in
There's
9th.
no question about it. As you watch, it appears now that Matt Hirschman is coming up on Patrick Emerling. We were just looking at that. We've shifted our attention now back up front. Here comes Silk trying to make the bold move to the inside. It just doesn't work. He pulls back in line. Bonsignore is still the leader of the event. When we drop back further in the field, we've got the great battle going on there as well. But right now, lead traffic is coming up on lead cars are coming up on heavy traffic just up ahead.
And it's been several years since Justin Bonsignore and Ron Silk traded Christmas cards, so there is no love lost between these guys, and they are on it. Look at Silk. He is putting the heat right now on Justin Bonsignore. Right to the back bumper between these two. They are going at it with lap traffic ahead. Ken Hagee down to the bottom, but Ron Silk putting pressure on early like we don't normally see. But Ben, there might be a reason for that. We're 31 coming to 32 laps into this race. There is no guarantee we go 150 laps, and the reason for that is because we are right on the edge of a band of showers to the north of the speedway. These drivers know that they need to get out in front in case this race only goes to halfway.
Look at your screen to the right. That is that battle with Patrick Emerling with car number 1. He's running in the 7th position. Hirschman is in the 8th position. Kyle Bonsignore is in 9th, and Chase Dowling is in the 10th spot. That's on the right side of your screen. On the left side of your screen, Bonsignore and Silk, the dynamic duo. They've run nose to tail, bumper to bumper. Nobody's giving up an inch. Are they riding it out, or is Joe Koss right? Is this the story? And they know that Mother Nature might come in and become the spoiler after all.
Emerling had fallen back all the way to 8th in that one car on the right side of the screen, and he's been able to move a spot forward up to 7th as Kyle Bonsignore starting to backpedal just a little bit. Kind of interesting to see here with what is going on with Patrick Emerling. This is the weakest, so to speak, that we have seen him in several races, and we've seen a lot of domination out of the other two championship contenders. Jesse, what is going on with the one car? Is there a reason why they've dropped back to the bottom half of the top 10?
Yeah, Joe, despite having fallen back a substantial amount from that third place starting position, the team maintains that the car doesn't have any damage following that scrape with the wall in the shortened practice that they did have. Cool, calm, and collected down here on pit road. Now, Patrick says he is a little bit of tight. The race car is a little bit tight, but 150 is a lot of laps, so they're not worried about anything right now, and definitely no damage on that car.
Well, it's kind of amazing as you watch it. It does not appear to be as strong as it was even at the start of this event. He continues to try to hold off the opposition. Matt Hirschman now took a peek at the inside, just kind of testing the waters there. This is the battle for 7th, 8th position, and 9th position. Those three cars that are currently we're looking at.
Emerling in the 1, the 60 of Matt Hirschman has been a contender all season long in the Whelen Modified Tour. No victories at Thompson Speedway, though. Of all the tracks, at least in Modified Tour competition, of all the tracks that he has won at under the NASCAR banner, Matt Hirschman would love to be able to get one here. He hasn't done it in 28 starts.
Certainly hasn't. Hirschman made a nice move there, but couldn't complete the mission. Now he's up on the wheel directly behind and running in the tire tracks of Patrick Emerling. Emerling continues to guard the spot. Directly in front of Emerling is Trevor Catalano. Now look at Hirschman. Thought twice of it, pulled back in the line, but there is heavy opposition up ahead, Joe, and I think that's where you're going to see a move by Matt Hirschman coming up pretty quick, or will he just ride it out?
The strength of the two leaders is apparent. This is a battle for what?
This is for the 7th, 8th, and 9th position.
Half a lap behind the race leaders, 41 laps in.
Hard to believe, quick pace here. Patrick Emerling hunted down by Matt Hirschman continually. Hirschman now took a peek again, but He can make the transition, but he can't complete the move. Patrick Emerling, we're looking at timing and scoring. He is picking it up just a bit under the clock, but still a ways to go. Here comes Hirschman again. Hirschman got a wheel down under, but then Patrick Emerling just steps on the gas and starts to pull away.
So good battle here up front. We continue to see Justin Bonsignore leading the way here today at Thompson, and the gap has gotten a little bit bigger since they got through that lap traffic. You see Ron Silk now fading back here as this run goes a little bit deeper. Let's talk about that 51 car of Justin Bonsignore. They have not had the dominance that we're used to. We saw earlier in the pre-race the opportunity where the laps led count. You know, Bonsignore's been leading a lot of laps, but he hasn't been dominating this way. Now, he did at Riverhead. That didn't work out for him.
Nope.
But now he's out front like he always was at Thompson. He's an 11-time winner at this racetrack. He has got a lot of victories. A 13-time Thompson winner, excuse me. He is one of the best at this racetrack. And this car is starting to show like it would before. It's a brand new race car, so to speak. Now, this is the center section of the car is the only thing that they saved from years prior.
Correct.
Everything else
is brand new. And Ryan Stone said that they have been working on it feverishly for these last 3 races. We're now back to looking at Patrick Emerling as he continues to try to hold off the Matt Hirschman machine. Hirschman, again, he can reel him in, but Joe, he's got nothing for him at this particular point. But is this part of the strategy, just to ride it out, save the rubber for when, well, the rubber meets the road and it's actually needed in this feature event? Here he goes now, the door open. Lap traffic, or is it? No, it's the next competitor in front of him, which is Trevor Catalano in the 6th position.
You mentioned strategy, Ben. If there's somebody on my strategy speed dial list, it's Matt Hirschman. He's the guy I'm calling because that guy drives, tunes, he does the whole deal, and he's a guy that knows how to play these games, especially when you get under these long green flag runs. Now, at the start of the race, Emerling was bogged down on the bottom. His car's still not as good. Can't make that inside lane work. They'll get underneath Trevor Catalano in the 56, who's backpedaling. Hirschman will go on through, and he'll get the job done. So now 6th and 7th for the 1 car as he continues to gain ground. Hirschman continuing to put pressure on the back of Emerling.
There's no question about it. It appears that Hirschman's car is starting to come in now. He tries to make the move, just can't do it. Pulls it back into line. Directly behind them is, of course, Trevor Catalano. He is not out of your visual sight there. And there you can see the orange on the front of the 44 car. Chase Dowling is in that pack of cars as well. So that is 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th position. Matt Swanson, car number 89, has moved into the top 10.
Really interesting to see the pressure that Matt Hirschman is putting on the 1 car. I mean, he is literally using the chrome horn against Patrick Emerling on the straightaways, not afraid to get very, very close. Remember, Emerling is running for the championship here, 16 points out coming into today's race. Matt Hirschman, though, he's got nothing to lose. He just wants to go out there and win. But there has been several times since we've watched this battle over the past couple of laps that Hirschman has used that chrome horn and trying to see if he can unsettle Emerling.
Certainly has. And you have to remember, in the more recent events this season on the tour, Patrick Emerling was a factor. He was huge. He was up front. He never missed a beat. The last time he was here, he led each and every circuit. Well, that's not the case now, because right now, that chrome horn is literally plastered, tattooed on the back bumper of the number 1 car.
This is a fast racetrack. Matt Hirschman not showing a lot of patience here as he continues to lean on that 1 car. And this racetrack is really quick. It doesn't take a lot to unsettle a race car. You have to wonder if you're Patrick Emerling and that team. Risk and reward. Should I continue to allow that back bumper to be hit and beat on by Matt Hirschman, or should I let go? And I think that's a strategy move right there for Emerling to say, I've had enough. I'm going to let you give this position back, and then later, when I've got tires and my strategy's a little better, I'll come back and get it.
Certainly seems to be the case, because now Hirschman has moved into the 6th spot. Emerling drops back to 7th, and then Chase Dowling is back in the 8th position. Once Hirschman got by, and now we're looking at the leader, and look at that margin between 1st and 2nd. But once Hirschman got by, he continued to open things up. And now he is in a rhythm of his own, working his magic and going through the entire group of lapped automobiles as well.
Up front, Justin Bonsignore comes by the start-finish line and clicks off lap number 58 of the World Series 150 presented by FloSports. He's got a healthy advantage back about 3/4 of a second to Ron Silk, who continues to hunt him down. Ron Silk, a driver that has had a lot of success here at this racetrack as well, scored his first Whelen Modified Tour victory here many, many years ago. And the man who's really starting to charge in on him, you saw him just in frame for a moment, that 46 car. Craig Lutz, one of the quickest cars on the track. As a matter of fact, last time through, he was a 10th plus faster than the 51 car of Justin Bonsignore.
Now, meanwhile, keep your eyes on the 60, because all of a sudden Matt Hirschman moves from 6th to the 5th position, going around Tyler Ripkema with the Boulder number 3 car. So Hirschman, it took him a while to get around Patrick Emerling, but Matt Hirschman is now in the top 5. His next target will become the 64 of Austin Beers.
2 cars that are quickest on the racetrack are the 2 that we just talked about. The 46 car of Craig Lutz, 19.7. The 60 car of Matt Hirschman, 19.7. Those 2 cars continue to turn laps quicker than the race leaders. And we've got Bob Reese again for the second time today.
But keeps going.
Through the infield grass in the front straightaway.
It looks like we're not going to have a caution in this one so far. For 62 circuits, we are still under green here in the FloRacing event for the World Series from Thompson Speedway. There is your leader, Justin Bonsignore, continuing to dominate. Good margin. But there, right in your viewing sight, is the number 16. Ronnie Silk still in second. And then Lutz. And Joe, you were spot on when you mentioned it. Craig Lutz is the quickest car on this racetrack. He continues to reel in on the back bumper of the Ronnie Silk machine. This is the only time in the first 64 circuits that we have seen Lutz come up to challenge Silk. Silk has been pretty much unchallenged and riding it out at second place.
46 team. And Craig Lutz in that group said, today our goal is to make smart decisions on the racetrack. They rode around very easily over the first 60 laps or so, but little by little, they've got the rod and reel out, and they are tracking down the top 2. Here is Ron Silk. He'll drive to the inside lane, give way to the outside, as Craig Lutz will power up top, but he got a little wide off the corner. He couldn't quite complete the pass. He'll try to do so in turn 1.
That is one fast race car, the Lutz machine. It quickly moves into second. Lutz is in the number 2 position now. Once he went by Ron Silk, he actually strung it out by 2 car lanes. Lutz is going his next target. No question about it. He is going to be reeling in on Bonsignore. It's just a matter of time.
No question. And you look at that 46 car, visibly you can see him cutting that advantage down. Just 1 second between the race leader, Justin Bonsignore, and the 46 of Craig Lutz. That car is a rocket ship right now. Just as fast, though, Matt Hirschman, although back in 5th and 6 seconds back, he is still the quickest car on the racetrack as we watch this battle for second, the 46 of Craig Lutz.
And again, Silk tried to take it back, couldn't do it. Silk's car just loosened up that last circuit by, coming off turn number 2. He was able to gather it back. He's trying everything to get back into that number 2 spot from Lutz. Remember, each position is points, Joe, and we know in this hunt how valuable those points have become.
As Justin Bonsignore comes through turns 3 and 4 this next time through, right ahead of this battle for the second spot. He'll put 70 circuits up on the scoreboard, just 5 laps away from halfway in an official race here at Thompson. And that's certainly going to be a big sigh of relief for all these teams as they get ready to go to North Wilkesboro and Martinsville Speedway over the next couple of weeks, with the weather still pending right at our backs and to the north here at Thompson.
There's no question about it. Ronnie Silk's car is really starting to loosen up coming off that second turn. That seems to be his Achilles heel turn. And Lutz's car seems to be getting quicker and stronger. Meanwhile, look a little further back in the field. Patrick Emerling, the number 1 car. Emerling no longer as strong as he was early in the event, as he continues to try to ride it out, as he is in the 7th position. And then right there with him and moving forward is Matt Swanson. Swanson has also been up and down in this roller coaster.
He started back in 16th at Matt Swanson, so because he doesn't run the full slate of series races, that meant he had to start in the back of the pack with the starting lineup set by owner's points, but he has been making a charge through the field.
Yes,
We're talking about that 89 car of Matt Swanson. His lap time's comparable with what we see up front among the race leaders.
And he is up to the 8th position currently as we speak. Dowling has dropped back to 9th. Anthony Nocella, we haven't talked much about him. He has now moved into the top 10 with the Davini Racing Enterprises Extreme Motorsports car. This is one only of a couple of races they have been out in the competition with. And there's the Dowling machine trying to make up some valuable ground. He's back in the 9th position. Anthony Nocella is 10th. Kyle Bonsignore is 11th. Dave Zapienza has worked his way into the top 12.
Go back up to that battle up front. Here's the 89 of Matt Swanson. The 3, Tyler Ripkema, continuing to have a pretty solid day in 6th. Emerling's car starting to come to life on the long run. And that's one thing that they have taken pride in is long run speed, but one who might be a little bit better on the long run, the 89 of Matt Swanson. And considering that he started in 16th, he's rallying inside the top 10 now. You imagine he's probably used a lot more of his race car up than Patrick Emerling and Tyler Ripkema have.
He's doing a great job with that race car. They had that car all apart at pit road after the practice session. Put it all back together, and it is actually working. You're looking at Ripkema's number 3 car, the Patrick Emerling number 1, trying to work magic on the inside. It just doesn't happen there. Still, that battle continues. Meanwhile, Swanson trying to take the high road with that number 89 car. Matt Swanson has been driving for Gary Casella, but this is the Swanson family race car, and it is running really racy here today.
Looks very, very good, and that was a car that after practice, and that shirt, we had about 15 minutes between practice and the race today. They had that car up on jack stands the entire time, the last car to drop onto the racing surface itself. They made all the adjustments they needed, and it obviously is paying off as they continue to go forward, but they made contact. The car slid up the racetrack into the side of Tyler Ripkema.
But he was able to gather it back, never lost any of the momentum, and all of a sudden Matt Swanson continues to show his muscle. He is there, and meanwhile, car number 3, Ripkema, drops back to the 8th position. Swanson solidly in position number 7. 80 laps are now showing.
Let's get a look at what happened into turn 3. You see Ripkema running the middle lane of the racetrack, skating underneath it. Matt Swanson just trying to make a lane. This is up off turn number 2 as they power down the back straightaway. Watch the line that the 2 drivers make getting down into turn 3. Here you see Swanson. Ripkema, I don't think, thought he was going to come in underneath him. Ran that middle groove, and they just ran out of racing room.
The old thing, running for the same airspace at the same time. Here's another look at it. They come together. They call them rub rails. You just witnessed why. And all of a sudden, they bumped and came together, but it was rubber to rubber. And that is not easy to do. Now Swanson is all over the number 1 car of Patrick Emerling. Heavy traffic surrounding them, but once they get around the Joey Cipriano number 15 car, they've got some clean track up ahead of them. Watch Swanson as he continues to work over Emerling.
Yeah, Swanson now found out where that line is. It's hard to see because here at Thompson there is a little bit of an apron down at the bottom, and that's what Swanson hit as he got down into the turn 3 area because it flattens out there where pit road is, and he caught that flat with the left sides, and that's what shot the car up the racetrack. You can almost see that darker line of asphalt in the very bottom of the racetrack. That's where Swanson got a hold of it, and that sent his car up the track.
You have to understand this racetrack is used in the opposite direction, the oval, when it comes to the road racing course. So a completely different nature of the beast there. Has nothing to do with the modified tour, but maybe in some cases it might have everything to do with it. Swanson has continued to reel in on the back bumper of Patrick Emerling. You're looking at the battle for 6th and 7th. Tyler Ripkema is just out of your picture frame on the right-hand side. Swanson still continues to work over Emerling. Matt Hirschman is among the quickest cars on the racetrack. Hirschman has moved into the 4th spot. Look down the back straightaway. Guess who's Hirschman is about to go by? He went by Ronnie Silk. Like Silk was literally stopped on the racetrack. All of a sudden, it is Hirschman who moves in, takes over the third spot. Ronnie Silk drops back to 4. Joe, that's a surprise there.
Yeah, Ronnie Silk playing a smart race. You can tell we've gone caution-free so far, 63 laps to go, trying to make it to the end and have as much tire at the end when needed. How about Matt Swanson? Again to the bottom of the racetrack. Emerling spotter saying, hey, drift up a lane or two.
Yes.
He tends to sail it down into turn number 3. Emerling gave him room. Swanson dives back into turn number 1, trying to take over the position and move into 6th.
There's no question about it. Matty Swanson is trying to become a household word here at Thompson. He has won in just about everything imaginable, but he now moves in. Swanson picks up and is the 6th place car. Austin Beers still hanging around in the top 5, and then 4th is Ronnie Silk. Matt Hirschman is in 3rd, and Craig Lutz setting in 2nd. Leader still remains Justin Bonsignore.
Justin Bonsignore out in front. We were watching the progress of Craig Lutz a little while ago. He got as close as 3/4 of a second behind Justin Bonsignore. But as soon as Craig Lutz got to 2nd, they told Justin Bonsignore to go to the afterburner, and he has been matching second by second the speed that Craig Lutz has been running. One of the goals that Bonsignore said, I'm 11 points back in the championship battle. I'm going to go for max points today, earn as many bonus points as possible. He's out in front. He's led the most laps today. He got that one done, and now he's trying to guide this number 51 to the finish in a very Justin Bonsignore dominating like fashion. Caution is out, though. Off turn 4, Joey Cipriano in the 15 car goes for a solo spin. I don't believe he hit anything, but he was into the grass, and that'll bring out the caution flag for the first time today.
And that could change the entire complexion of this event. As we have seen, Joey Cipriano, there's the number 15 car, spun coming off turn number 4. Looked like a minor spin, and just as he started to go around, could not get it quickly fired back up enough. But meanwhile, we're looking at
Justin Bonsignore was lapped all but 12 cars
and
in
that
the race
is
so far.
Pretty amazing. And you're looking at the Phoenix Ryan Stone group in preparation, and it looks like they are preparing, and pit road activities is going to be getting hot and heated in just a few moments. As you can see
this is where teams like the 51, the 1, the 16 excel. And that's what has made them championship contenders week in and week out, year in and year out. They started the race on brand new tires. They had no idea what those tires were going to give them, and they hit the mark.
Yes,
now they've
did.
got tires that they've got a couple of laps on, and say, well, what does that matter? In modified racing, the tires are everything, and having some laps on the tires is standard. You do a procedure called scuffing the tires, and you can see the tire right there on pit wall. It doesn't have stickers on it. You can see it all marked up. It's got dirt and debris, and the rubber's banged up a little bit on it. Those are the type of tires they normally put on because they know how they're going to grow in size, and that's critical on the setup. You better believe me that the way they run right now, when they come off of pit road, there's going to be a couple other players that are going to come to life. Drivers like Ronnie Silk, who was dropping back little by little with new tires, new setup. That car is going to come to life.
And sure, Patrick Emerling, another one of those competitors. He was fading, dropping to the rear, while other competitors were jumping up their game. Well, the story is something different. Let's look at the entrance of pit road. Pit road is open and coming down on pit road. 51 of Bonsignore, Lutz right there with him. In your 3rd place car, Matt Hirschman is in, along with Silk, Austin Beers. Then it's Matt Swanson. And let's go down to Jesse Punch. Jesse?
Pit road is active down here. As you see, look at our championship contenders. The 51 of Justin Bonsignore taking tires, as is the 16 of Ron Silk and the 1 of Patrick Emerling. This 51 team, they've been awfully quiet down here in the pits, and I checked in with them. They said, look, no news is good news. We've got a happy driver and a good-looking race car. We know how to get it done here at Thompson. And Joe, like you said, they know how to do it on pit road. This latter half of the race is going to be big for this 51 team, who's looking to lock in a good run on this championship with 2 races to go.
Yeah, but Jesse, problems on pit road for the 51 of Justin Bonsignore. They had lowered the jack on the right rear tire. It wasn't on all the way. They had to jack the car back up again. Justin Bonsignore came in with the race lead, but he will go off pit road in 5th. Disastrous pit stop for the 51 of Justin Bonsignore.
Unbelievable chain of events. We were watching. We almost couldn't believe our eyes. but the 51 does make it back out in the 5th position. Cars still down on pit road. Woody Pitcat's number 82 car is there. You're looking at Justin Bonsignore's machine, and as he said before, the leader now becomes the number 46 car.
46 of Craig Lutz won the race off of pit road. Matt Hirschman was second. Austin Beers, Ron Silk, Tyler Ripkema. Correction, Justin Bonsignore came out in 6th. And the one car of Patrick Emerling came out in 7th for that team. And that's a team for Emerling. They take pride in gaining ground on pit road. They did not gain any on that pit stop.
Well, another competitor that also maintained, and of course they're not used to doing this all the time, is Matt Swanson. He was able to make it back out. He didn't gain or lose many positions. Dave Zapienza also picked up a few spots. Chase Dowling, they had a problem on pit road when they were jacking the car itself, getting it back down. So 97 of the 150 laps are all but gone in this event. And there, you're looking at our leader, Craig Lutz. Been quite a while, there's no question about that, Joe, since Craig Lutz has been back in dominant form here at Thompson, but it has happened here before. We'll be back with more of this and the conclusion of today's FloRacing World Series from Thompson Speedway.
Getting ready to go back under the green flag here at Thompson with 51 laps to go. The complexion of this race has changed after a round of pit stops. Craig Lutz won the race off of pit road in the 46, and Matt Hirschman now on the front row as we get back under the green flag at Thompson.
Lutz gets plenty of momentum. All of a sudden it appeared that Hirschman made some contact in a side shot with the number 16 machine. Silk works his magic in the upper groove. Who's there with him? Bonsignore. Bottom shot. Austin Beers gets stuck on the inside. 3 wide. They come off turn 4.
Couldn't make that work, and Matt Hirschman knew it. He rolled out of the throttle in the middle. We keep an eye on the 64 of Matt Hirschman. Meanwhile, the 51 car has rolled up to the 3rd spot. Trouble on pit road for him. He's recovered quickly, though, and he's starting to battle for 2nd.
Well, that's been happening. All of a sudden, it appears that Hirschman's car is starting to back up just a bit. Meanwhile, he continues to drift further back, already back to the 7th spot as Anthony Nocella moves into the top 8. Swanson is back at 9th. Tyler Ripkema in the top 10. Lutz is still the leader, but back up front, here comes Ronnie Silk. Silk takes over the lead, and right there with him, the battle of the points and the championship is right there, 1-2. But off the turn, Lutz settles back in, and here is Bonsignore, glued to the back bumper. Different presentation than we saw early in the event, Joe. It is the opposite this time. How long will it stay that way?
Remember what we talked about when the caution came out. The 16 car had faded back to the 4th spot. But now, with fresh tires, a new setup, this car goes to the race lead. The battle up front. There is Bonsignore on the heels as Austin Beers, out of shape on the back straightaway, settles back in line in 4th.
Once again, tucking out of line, it was Bonsignore. Couldn't quite do it to make the move. You're looking at all of a sudden the Extreme, the Davini car, driven by Anthony Nocella, is coming forward. But right now, let's go back to the front of the field. It still remains. Silk still in command, continuing to hold off the opposition of Justin Bonsignore. One little slip up on pit road could change the entire complexion of this event. 105 of 150 now down in the record books.
The drama has built all season long between the 16 and the 51. How far will they push it here at the 5/8 mile high-speed racetrack at Thompson? We have seen the drama. We saw it boil over at Riverhead Raceway when contact between Ron Silk and Justin Bonsignore set up this gap that they have in the championship battle. Bonsignore is hounding the 16 of Ronnie Silk. Still a long way to go. 43 left and two of the best in the business out front.
Meanwhile, another good battle shaping up is for the third position. All of a sudden, Austin Beers is all over Craig Lutz. Remember, Lutz had one of the fastest cars on the racetrack at the midpoint of the event. That has suddenly changed. Beers is still right there and challenging. Nocella up to the top 5. We haven't talked about the 17 car, but look at this bid now. It appears that Beers is trying everything, but it just doesn't seem to work.
Continuing to put pressure, the 64 on Craig Lutz. That car certainly better on the long run than it is right now into this short run, this short sprint to the finish, the final third of today's Whelen Modified Tour 150 here, the World Series, presented by Flow Sports. Up front, defending series champion, the 16 of Ron Silk, continuing to be hounded by three-time series champion Justin Bonsignore. Just about 2 or 3 feet separate the two in turn 1.
There's no question about it. They continue to run nose to tail, picture perfect. Meanwhile, a little further back in this field, we're seeing something now starting to develop as Hirschman is coming back to life. Matt Hirschman is back up to the 7th position. All of a sudden, and with Hirschman coming forward is Kyle Bonsignore. Chase Dowling now has moved in behind Hirschman in the 8th position.
When we went under the green flag with 51 laps to go, Hirschman was on the bottom of the front row. He's back to 7th. That speed that he had in that long run, similar to the 46, Ben, where they were both good 60-plus laps into the run. They do not have that short run sprint speed like they had in the long run.
They certainly do not. And meanwhile, down the back straightaway, all of a sudden, Anthony Nocella, the neon number 17 car, just moved down underneath Craig Lutz. They were side by side at the line. You're looking at it to the right side of your screen. Anthony Nocella has moved in to position number 4. The Davini race car in the 4th position. Meanwhile, directly behind them, it is Lutz. It appears that Nocella is coming forward with a vengeance with that 17 car.
Up front in the battle for the lead in turn 2. Justin Bonsignore has been working over Ron Silk. He puts a wheel to the inside lane. Silk will run the middle lane of the racetrack. Bonsignore slides him up in turn number 4.
They come off the turn. They're side by side. Evenly matched. Silk is still in command. Bonsignore all over him now. Off the second turn. Who'll get the bite? Who'll take the challenge down the back straightaway?
High entry to turn 1 for Justin Bonsignore. You see the momentum that gained him on the back straightaway. They both run high through turns 3 and 4, trying for the crossover move, but Bonsignore did not have the momentum.
There's no question. He dives down low into turn number 1. Silk is still in command. Starts to string it out by about a car length. Down into turn number 3. But while this has been happening, it is Beers who's setting in the 3rd position, and all of a sudden among the quickest cars on the racetrack is Anthony Nocella. We haven't talked about him. He's in the 4th spot, Joe, and he is moving in.
And they've had a great run, second at Monadnock when they ran with the 17 car. Anthony Nocella could be a factor before it's all said and done, as can lap traffic. Bob Reese, Tyler Catalano down to the inside lane trying to make way for this epic battle again between Ron Silk and Justin Bonsignore.
And what a battle it is. Lap traffic just in front of them. Bonsignore tried to make the move, can't do it. Catalano is there, car 56. They come off the turn, back down into turn number 1. Leader of the pack still remains Silk. Bonsignore is all over him.
You can see the debris, all that rubber built up on that front of that 51 car. You've got to be careful of that here at Thompson. He started eating up there in that high lane of the racetrack. That's where all the marbles sit, and you can lose it quick, and they are trying to make this track wide. You see them right on the edge of the so-called cushion. You see Silk that time, sideways off the corner. That allows Bonsignore to dart to the inside.
Bonsignore dives down low. Silk goes up the racetrack. Silk tries to make the crossover. Can't do it. Off the turn they come. Bonsignore is back in command. Silk has to settle back in the second.
5 championships among these two drivers, and now it's Justin Bonsignore, 13-time winner here at this racetrack, leading into turn 1.
There's no question. He continues to be the guy that is on his game here today. Silk is not going to give up without a fight. He still currently sets in second. Meanwhile, Beers is still back in the third spot, but as you look at this battle for the lead, if you look a little further back, you'll discover that Beers is getting in striking distance. He's now starting to show up in this shot as the third place car.
One of the best runs that Beers has been able to put together at Thompson. We talked about that early on, but that 17 car right there of Anthony Nocella, the fastest car on the racetrack. We'll see. Now that Justin Bonsignore has some clear racing surface, he is still a little bit slower than the 17 car of Anthony Nocella, but Nocella sits back 1.5 seconds behind the race leader and not that many laps to track down the top two.
Michelle Davini's husband passed away early in the spring. She carried that torch forward with a bunch of local guys, and the Anthony Nocella machine has been strong wherever it has went. He's moving in, closing in on Austin Beers. The Extreme Motorsports machine setting in the fourth position. Meanwhile, out in front, margin 3/10 between first and second. But there's that battle for that third position. And Joe, I don't think that's done yet. 125, 25 circuits. If anybody was saving anything, it's got to show in the final 25.
Time is running out here today. Anthony Nocella trying to take that neon yellow number 17 into the third position, have another podium finish in back-to-back races for that team. He's down within 1-2 car lengths now. Austin Beers, though, is not an easy guy to pass as they hit turn 4.
There's no question. He continues. Now he's moving to the inside. In less than one lap, he is able to reel in on the back bumper of Austin Beers. Here comes Nocella. Tries to make the move to the inside. Can't do it. Pulls back in the line. Formation there. Here he comes again. Off turn number 4. Down to the inside. Anthony Nocella was almost there to take over the third spot.
While we watch this battle for third, the bigger story might be the car directly in front, because Ron Silk is starting to backpedal, and the championship battle, 11 points different coming in. Ron Silk, the difference between second and fourth, could make the difference in the title run over the course of the next 3 races. It's been that close, so Silk is keeping an eye on this battle behind him. He wants to stay in second if he doesn't have anything for Justin Bonsignore.
So true, and that battle still continuing lap after lap as it still remains. Beers trying to hold off Anthony Nocella. Nocella's strongest point of the racetrack is off turn number 4. You're looking at it now. Down into turn number 1. Will he be able to pull it off the second turn, down the back straightaway? It just doesn't stick. It doesn't work. And there, directly in front of him, is Ronnie Silk.
Silk enjoys this battle that he watches behind. Meanwhile, the race leader, Justin Bonsignore, has kept a 3/4 of a second advantage with less than 19 laps to go here at Thompson, holding the rest of the field at bay. But Nocella back on the attack, off turn 2, peeking down to the inside of Austin Beers in turn 3.
Here he comes again, trying to get a nice run for it. Right there alongside. Close isn't good enough. He has to pull back in the line. He's not done yet. The young and talented Beers holding off. One of the best, and that is Anthony Nocella. The last few races, he's become a household name. Nocella is still working his magic, setting back in the 4th position. Hirschman is still back in 5th. Dowling is in 6th. Lutz up to 7th. Dave Zapienza is 8th. Patrick Emerling is 9th, and Kyle Bonsignore rounds out the top 10.
So far in his career, Nocella's day in the sun was at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, winning his first career Wheel and Modified Tour victory a few seasons ago, and that put him on the map in modified racing. He did it in his family-owned number 92, but this combination, as you have mentioned, Ben, in the 17 car with the Davini group has certainly gone really well. Extreme Motorsports has got a car that Anthony Nocella is trying to put back into the top 3, maybe even second before the checkered flag.
There is no question. He has done a masterful job. Meanwhile, tries to make the move. Traffic was almost a deciding factor. Anthony Nocella rim rides to the inside. Off the turn, Beers continues. Down the back straightaway. Pulls away, but Beers is the man. And all of a sudden, there comes Anthony Nocella. He's right there with him, side by side. And now, Anthony Nocella has moved into position number 3 in Michelle Davini's number 17.
Good, solid run for Anthony Nocella. We'll see if in the final 13 laps or so if he has anything for the 16 car of Ron Silk. Justin Bonsignore has now extended it to a 1.1 second advantage over Ron Silk. There's the battle for third, the 17 of Anthony Nocella and Austin Beers, who's still having a good run, trying to get his first career top 5 at Thompson Speedway. Back up front, though, Bonsignore in heavy lap traffic.
Yeah, and definitely the case. He comes up on the 3 car of Tyler Ripkema, but he continues to hit his marks around traffic, and that seems to be the story and what's working here. Meanwhile, Anthony Nocella has not only reeled in on Silk, he's about to go by Silk, but all of a sudden thinks twice of it, pulls back in the line. Joe, we've got a battle, and that battle is for second.
Lightning quick for Anthony Nocella, putting the heat on Ron Silk. Tyler Ripkema runs up the racetrack. Silk had to lift a little bit through the exit of the corner, still can't get by Tyler Ripkema, and that allows Anthony Nocella to go right to the back bumper.
And again, Nocella is there. Here comes Nocella. Nice run to the inside. Can't do it. Silk knows he's coming, knows he's all over him, understands the points and the strategy. Here comes Nocella again. Anthony Nocella can't do it, but down into turn number 1, he'll have to pull back in the line. Off the second turn. What's going to happen, Joe? Down the back straightaway.
This may not matter today when you look at the big picture, but at the end of the race at Martinsville Speedway, passes like this could be the difference between winning a championship and not for either Justin Bonsignore, Ron Silk, or even Patrick Emerling. Silk knows that. He's been there before as a 2-time champion. Every pass, every position matters. That's why he's fighting so hard.
Certainly is, and he is showing the true marking of a champion. At that, all of a sudden, Nocella tries his strategy again off the turn. Number 4 pulls back in the line. 1:43 now up on the board. The laps continue to tick away. Down the back straightaway. Anthony Nocella to the inside. Anthony Nocella will move in. Nocella will take over second, bumping Ronnie Silk back to third.
Allows Justin Bonsignore to chip into that lead a little bit more. Silk will try to stay in third as Justin Bonsignore is on the back straightaway. When he comes down into the line this time by, there'll be just 5 laps to go here at Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park. Second place for Anthony Nocella, and a great drive for him. But all eyes, the final 5 laps, Justin Bonsignore looking to go back to victory lane here at Thompson.
There's no question about it. What a great run for him. Overcoming a situation on pit road, Justin Bonsignore has been the man that worked back into the lead, and Anthony Nocella, the clock is ticking. We are less than 5. Does Anthony Nocella have an opportunity to move in, Joe? It seems like we're about to run out of time, but Nocella is coming. You have to give credit where credit is due.
Nocella is 0.2 of a second faster than Justin Bonsignore, but the math says in 3 laps he will not have enough time to get there on his own. He'll need some help if he's going to catch Justin Bonsignore and that 51 team, who's got a dominating lead right now of just over 1 second. Let's talk about the 51 car of Bonsignore. They put a brand new car together. It was an old car that they cut up, built it from the ground up to try to run here and get back into the championship battle. They haven't won since the month of June, and that was at New Hampshire Motor Speedway early in the season. Now he's a lap and a half away of getting his 14th career victory here at Thompson and putting himself back firmly in the battle of the championship points.
Certainly has, and of course, he has driven a flawless race. He overcome a problem on pit road. The white flag is out. Nobody is surrendering, but it is Justin Bonsignore leading Anthony Nocella down the back straightaway. Final circuit, deep into turn number 3. Justin Bonsignore, look at Nocella. He's coming, he's closing up, but it is a checker. And going into the record books, Justin Bonsignore will take down the impressive victory. Anthony Nocella will finish in second. Ronnie Silk unofficially in third. Austin Beers for fourth. Matt Hirschman to round out the top 5. 6th through 10th, Chase Dowling, Patrick Emerling, Craig Lutz, Dave Zapienza, and Kyle Bonsignore.
Momentum is key, and Justin Bonsignore now marches in to the final stretch of the season with a victory. Final result for Ron Silk will come home third. Patrick Emerling did not have the day that team hoped to have. he will come home 7th. A critical victory for this 51 team of Justin Bonsignore.
It certainly is. And, a recap of the day, Patrick Emerling scuffed the wall underneath the start or restart line. They thought they had everything under control. Jesse Punch told us the story. Then all of a sudden, Justin Bonsignore had a problem on pit road. They never gave up. They went back to the front of the field. There's the Sunoco checkers for a very deserving team. Ryan Stone, of course, a huge factor in that as well.
Career win 43 for Justin Bonsignore, moves him into third and sole possession of third on the all-time win list in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. Ted Christopher with 42 as they break that tie today. Reggie has 44. Reggie Ruggiero, 44 victories, and Mike Stefanik, 74. So Justin Bonsignore, a bit of history here today, becomes a 14-time winner at Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park. A dominating performance here today, and unofficially, I think that's going to put him over 1,000 laps led here at this racetrack, or at least pretty close to it here at Thompson. Might be just shy. I'll have to go back and let the statisticians map that one out, but he'll be pretty close to over 1,000 laps led here at Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park. A dominating run for him. You can see the excitement to take that victory lap here at Thompson, even though he's done it so many times before, the meaning of this. And they might have shrugged off the fact that there was a little bit of a summer slump for this 51 team, that Thompson, a track that they were so dominant at year in, year out. They have lost their groove a little bit, but today they got it back, and there was no question that the 51 team came to play, and that group right there put together the best race car on the property, and they were able to get the win here at the World Series of Sunoco Racing. And today's Thompson Speedway Whelen 150 presented by Flow Sports. Justin Bonsignore is a World Series champion here in the state of Connecticut. He's gotten it done. Now, what is next for him in the rest of the 2024 campaign?
No question. We beat Mother Nature today, but there's 2 more stops on the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, and those 2 stops could mean anything and everything. Let's go down to Jesse Punch.
Make it 14 for Justin Bonsignore here at Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park. This team making their way down here to victory lane, incredibly confident all day long. Even after that little bobble on pit road, they said, we've got a fast car. He knows how to get it done. And that he did. Justin Bonsignore getting ready to climb out here in victory lane and celebrate his first win here for the Modifieds in almost 4 months. Your winner today at Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park, Justin Bonsignore. Huge win for this 51 team. Justin, first time back in victory lane in almost 4 months, and now with the season winding down, a huge championship on the line. How big was this win for you in this team?
Yeah, this was huge. We had worked hard all summer. We haven't been the best car, and brought back Old Faithful. This car's been sitting bare bones since last Martinsville. Finally got it back together. Tested it a few weeks ago. It was really good, and Gramps, what we call it, got us back in victory lane here at Thompson. So just unbelievable car. Guys did a great job today with the tight turnaround. Just want to thank Phoenix Communications, Clearcom IT Solutions, everybody that's up here from those 2 companies. Robbie Gates Engines, Fury Race Cars, M3 Technologies. Everybody did a great job. A little bit of a hiccup on the pit stop. I know who's going to be here on the way to the ferry tonight. But all in all, just a really good day. And it does show that we can race each other cleanly in this series, and it was good to do it.
Well, I know you call out the bit of a hiccup on the pit stop, and I will say team was very disappointed in their mistake on pit road. However, they were so confident in you. They said, hey, he's starting on the outside. This car's fast. He's going to make his way up there. And that you did. What was going through your mind when that happened on that restart?
Yeah, I mean, these guys bail me out more than anything. So there's times we come in 6th and go out first over the many years as they're giving JoJo a hard time. But sometimes it's just going to work the other way. And I knew lining up 6, especially with the row we had to 46 and to 16, they were really good cars today that we could probably roll back to 2nd or 3rd pretty easily. And Ron's car was pretty good to fire, and I could see I was just trying to pressure him as hard as I could. And, I think everybody thinks we're just going to wreck each other every week, but I wanted to do it the right way, and hopefully that sets a precedent that, he can race us the same way the rest of the year.
Well, congratulations on the win today, Justin. Enjoy it and go get that beer. You earned it.
Yeah, thanks. I just want to thank everybody coming out here today. Really bad forecast, and everybody that stuck it out, and everybody from ACT and PASS for putting on everything they do for the series and everything here at Thompson. It's awesome to win the World Series, and I think we got one more to tie Stefanik for the record, so that would be pretty special.
That's Justin Bonsignore, as you heard, his 14th win here at Thompson, one away from tying the record. Win number 3 for him of this 2024 modified season.
Well, thank you, Jesse. And they have cracked the window open for that championship path, trying to get back what they lost at Riverhead just a few races ago. Unofficially, a 5-point differential between Ron Silk and Justin Bonsignore among the top 2 in the championship.
Can't remember when the last time we had a battle this close going into the final 2 race events. And there's the hardware, but more important than all of that is the points that were gained and the points for some that were lost here on World Series weekend.
Trophy being presented. John Holland on the left from New England Racing Fuel, Sunoco brand. Gary Byington over there on the right. He drove modifieds a time or two, now representing Sunoco, the series sponsor here of the race weekend, the World Series of Speedway Racing here at Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park. What a race it was. You take a look at what comes up next Sunday afternoon, North Wilkesboro Speedway, and then we wrap it up at Martinsville Speedway on October 26th. Justin Bonsignore, he said, you know what, this car, we call it Gramps. That's because the first time they ran it was at Martinsville, the grandfather clock that they'll be racing for. That's why it has that name. And Justin Bonsignore will march with momentum on his side. Want to remind everybody, down in North Wilkesboro, there's a lot of need and a lot of help, and you have still opportunity to do that when the series heads down south. Connect with some of the teams in the Modified Tour. They'll be bringing a whole bunch of supplies to help the fans in Western North Carolina. It was a good race here today at Thompson. We saw some contact. We saw emotion. We saw a great battle between 2 champions, Silk and Bonsignore. But at the end of the day, Justin Bonsignore scored his 43rd career victory in the series, and he's got momentum heading into the final few races of the 2024 season.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.